gone. A quarter of the share is gone.
And we are doing amazing. Okay, it's still
Good.
waiting for YouTube. Okay, here we go. I think we're live. We're live, yay. Okay.
Hello.
Hi everybody. Um, I am so excited to introduce you to my coach. This is Scott McKinley. Scott can wave. And he's just going to talk for a few minutes about our event that's coming. And I know that a couple more people are joining here in a moment, but that's okay. So I wanted to tell you like how I first met Scott, and which was through an event that was done through Lily Gotro. Okay, we did a virtual event, and I don't know, like changed in my brain, and I was like, I need to work with this guy. And um, but to be real honest, the way I see myself is like, and all of us, we're not just a Mary Kay person, right? Right. We wear a lot of hats. So I went to him because I wanted to work on things within me as a human, which flows into Mary Kay, obviously. But what I've gotten, I mean, there's so many things I've gotten, but I'm gonna just real quick just say one of the things that we hear all the time about, our words being so important. I realized that one of the things that I was saying to myself over and over and over was, I have to this, I have to that, and I take care of my mom, and I've got to do this. And he really like changed the switch in my head permanently, I believe. And he's helped me to create new habits around the things that I think. So without any more, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let Scott take over.
Well, thank you. And thanks for letting me come on here. I love crashing these parties. I do it quite often. So hi everyone. Gosh, is there any
Hello.
way to get it off of speaker view and make it so I can see the whole gallery, Mimi?
I mean, mine is set to gallery.
Is it?
Isn't it just your
At the
own
top right
setting?
There we
corner,
go.
there
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be, yeah.
I got it. I mean, I use Zoom every day. You would think that I would just be able to pop in and do that. So, hi. We got Janelle and we got Donna and we got Alicia. Is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Uh, Alicia. All right, cool. And Kimberly. So, it's interesting that Mimi said that she feels like I've helped her to change that, create that new habit. I didn't do anything. I was just a catalyst to give her a little bit of a direction to focus on. So this event that I'm coming out there with my business partner, Joe Rangel, to do, has anybody ever worked with a coach before that isn't Mimi? Anybody? Okay. So Alicia, you have nobody else? All right. When I was first given an opportunity to work with a coach, I wanted nothing to do with it. I thought, okay, what kind of a loser do you have to be a life coach? And I just envisioned Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live, the motivational speaker, living in a van down by the river. If you know, you know. And what I've learned over the years is that my reaction to, so my boss hired a coach and he hired him to come in and work with my team and I. And my reaction was a lot more of a response to the habits that I had about myself, the thoughts that I thought about myself, just the paradigms that I had. My resistance to it was something that I just wasn't even aware of was happening at the time. So if there's anybody that's like, why do we need to come listen to a coach speak, Mimi? Let me tell you a little bit of what it's about. So I'm a really big believer in autosuggestion. You know, thoughts become things. What we focus on, what we give our attention to, we tend to draw into our life. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff. But really, the reason that we have the thoughts that we have is a direct result of the habits that we've developed. So by the time we're 35 years old, 95% of our thoughts and our feelings and our actions, they're just the result of these subconscious habits that we've developed. So much so that Tony Robbins, who's kind of known as the grandfather of coaching, he had an opportunity to interview an artificial intelligence named Sophia. She's the first AI who's been given citizenship in the world. So she's a citizen of Saudi Arabia, and she's spoken at the United Nations, and she kind of goes around, and she's a real draw. So Tony Robbins had an opportunity to interview her, and he asked her a question. He said, "Sophia, how do we get robots to feel?" And I think he was kind of joking. And what she said was pretty eye-opening. She said, "I know that humans feel that they have free will, but so much of my observations tell me that their thinking is automatic. I don't think that humans and robots are too terribly different." Right? Getting called out by a robot that we are robots, that our thinking is just so automatic. And so as a coach who works with people that really want to create something more, something new, the first thing that we do is we figure out what the automatic program is. And then if we can become aware of what that automatic program is, well, then we can manage it and we can expect to see improvements in the behavior. I have a client, Mimi knows who I'm talking about. I won't use her name, but when we first started working together, I could tell she really wanted to change. But man, she was just stuck in some of these deep rooted habitual responses, reactions, I should say. And the way that she described it was, I just keep going around and around the mountain. I just keep going round and round. I'm not making the progress that I know I can be making, I could be making right now. I'm going to go back to Tony Robbins. He said, not in the same conversation with Sophia, but he said that the difference between peak performance and poor performance, it's not skill and it's not talent, it's not ability. It's the state that your mind is in. So this workshop that we're going to be out in Clovis doing in what, 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks from this weekend, I think is what it is. It's all about being able to uncover what those subconscious programmed habits are that have got us operating like a robot. And if there's different levels of business that we want to get to, different levels of success, it really helps, like what Mimi did with her primary motivation being obligation. If you guys feel obligated to do something, if you don't feel like it's a choice, we tend to resist those things, you know? We tend to find excuses not to do it. And so by Mimi getting the opportunity to not just work with a coach, but before we even met, she had a chance to take the Habit Finder assessment that everybody that comes to the workshop will get an opportunity to take that assessment. And then we'll be going over that report at the workshop. And I guarantee you, it is unlike any other assessment out there that you've taken. Most assessments are inductive, meaning the person that wrote the assessment is trying to induce a diagnosis of you. They want to put you into a category. So, there's a lot that Myers-Briggs, DISC, the color code, which love language are you? I like to use the example of which Disney princess are you? Because it gets my point across really well. I was talking about this and how most assessments are inductive, inducing a diagnosis. But the thing is, with those types of tests, you can cheat. Like if you know what category you want to be put into, you can answer the questions that will lead you to that category. And I use this example of which Disney princess are you? So I was telling this to a client that I was talking to, and my daughter overheard me. So she came in after my session was over and she said, "I want to know which Disney princess I am." I said, "Okay, well, let's find out. Hop down. Let's see." So I pull it up and the first question was, "What's your favorite Disney song?" And not kidding, she leaned over and whispered in my ear, "Which one is Elsa?" And I was like, that's exactly it. The habit finder is not inductive science. We're not trying to put you in a category. It's deductive science, meaning you the one that's taking the assessment, you get to deduce the value. And by you deciding where the value is, it gives us a little bit of a glimpse into that subconscious brain so we can identify any habits that might be holding you back. So if you haven't registered, I would encourage you to do it. One of the cool things, I had a client that got to go listen to Tony Robbins speak. Since I'm talking about Tony Robbins, I'm going to stick with it. She got to go listen to Tony Robbins speak, and I think she paid like $3,800 to listen to Tony Robbins speak. And I said, tell me what your biggest takeaway was. And what she shared with me was something that we will be talking about at the workshop. So you can go spend $3,800 and hear Tony Robbins say it, or you can spend $40 and come to the event in Clovis. I don't have as deep of a voice as Tony Robbins, but we teach the same thing. It's really just focusing on helping you to make more of the decisions conscious, deliberate, intentional thoughts rather than the program making the decisions for you. So, do you guys have any questions? Any questions about the event, about what we'll be doing? Anything you need to know? And all of a sudden, we're on a trampoline. How do we get on a trampoline?
It's her son.
What?
Okay.
Be
Question?
shy if you have a question.
Who's registered? Has anybody registered to go? Donna?
Mhm.
Sweet.
And Alicia.
Donna and Alicia are both registered. Awesome. I look forward to seeing them there. Janelle, Kimberly.
I'm 600 miles away. I live in Oregon, so
I mean, come on. You can make it work, right?
when is
Where there's a will, there's a way.
You know what? Actually, we're thinking there's a director in Oregon that that Joe, my business partner, is working with, who might be having us come out there. So
oh cool.
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you notified.
Yeah, do that, please.
Awesome. Okay, well, Donna and Alicia, I look forward to meeting you, and Sharon and Kimberly. I would love to meet you guys there as well too. I'll tell you what, it's a day, it's a full day. It's from 9 until 4, but you will walk out of there with perspective, with direction, and hopefully with a more focused, clear, intentional, deliberate focus of what you want to do with some new opportunity to not, we don't really ever get rid of habits, but we replace them. We replace them with strong, healthy habits. And that's definitely going to be something that people will be taking away as some action items that they can do to start making some changes in their business, and not just in their business, because they're not just work habits. They're your habits, and that affects your personal life. It affects your business. It affects all areas. So there's really, one of the things that I love so much about coaching in this program is there's such an organic reach into all areas of our lives. It's really a cool thing to get to do. I've got the best job in the world. I love what I do. So, all right, no questions?
Thank you so much, Scott.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate
Mimi.
you.
All right, I will see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Now you guys can all breathe. Anybody have
Breathe?
comments or questions?
So,
Anything?
this event isn't just for Mary Kay.
Correct. It is for you as a human, just like the Tony Robbins thing that you and I did, Donna.
Yeah.
That we
Uh-huh.
paid what, $500 for.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's like it's for you as a person, because who you are in Mary Kay is typically who we are in life. You know, it bleeds together. We're not just Mary Kay. Yeah.
When is the event?
The 26th of this month. You can stay at my house, but I know you have family here. So, anything you guys want to ask? Kim, you unmuted there for a second. I don't know. Was that an accident?
I thought I was already unmuted. Okay. I see now. My icons have been like popping on and off. It's kind of strange. And my background changed weirdly. I had a blur and then now this one's on.
Now you moved to the library.
Now I moved to the library oasis, it looks like.
All right. Well, any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about that? It's totally cute, casual, look cute, casual. You don't have to wear nylons or skirt or anything like that. Just come. Okay. Okay. Alicia, I know
Can
you
I
had.
get,
Go ahead.
I'll give a shameless plug to this kind of work.
Mhm.
Like I didn't go through this coach specifically, but I have been in the coaching world for 8 years, and I would bet my life that I would not be in the relationship that I'm in, at least not in the healthy way that I'm in the relationship, if it wasn't for this kind of work. And so, if at all possible you can go, it's well worth it for, what was it, $40?
$40. And you're getting lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's helped me with my kids. It's helped me with my mom. It's helped me reframe how I'm looking at this time of my life. Because I had an expectation of what this time of my life was supposed to be. And, then I got a curveball. There's Kim. And I got a curveball, right? And I mean, I had a choice. And anyway, this has really helped me with that. So,
I always
Alicia,
think about expectations that, like, and then reality comes and slaps you in the face because we have an expectation of how something's going to be, and then reality happens. But yeah, my mother-in-law came to celebrate Mother's Day a month early, and so I'm gonna bounce.
I know
Were you gonna say something else?
No, I was going to say, Alicia, I know you needed to go.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
for
bye.
hopping on.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So Kim and Sharon are on. Okay. Let's do our intros. And when you're introducing yourself, I'd love to hear your wins. WINS. What are your wins? And what did I say in the text? What do you feel that you have been learning? What have been some learning moments for you? Or maybe you're reading something or listening to a podcast and something has touched you. And if you'd like, I can go first and give like an idea. Does that sound like a plan? That help? Okay. So I'm Mimi Novak, and I've had my business for 20 something years. So, I read all the time. I listen actually, but one of the things that happened to me, plain honest, complete transparency here. So we had a booking blitz yesterday. And since no one was coming, but Alicia was going to come, and Alicia and I live like on complete opposite ends of the world, right? And I said, how about we do it virtually and save you the gas and the time and whatnot? She's like, that's great. And that was the conversation at the beginning of the morning. And then as the day progressed, I just kept thinking, maybe she'll forget. Maybe she'll forget. And then I'm like, no. Okay, because why did I think that? Anybody? Why was I thinking that?
Because then you wouldn't do it either.
So you didn't, yeah.
Let me off the hook. Okay. And have you ever felt that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all feel that way? Like, gosh, if I do that now, then I have to work. And I hope you appreciate my transparency, because I'm just a person like you're a person, anyhow, so I didn't let myself get off the hook. I texted her like at 2:00. I'm like, you getting ready for this? Because we're doing this, right? So we were going back and forth. So 5:00, it was like 4:55. I text her, I'm like, 5 minutes. And anyway, so then I sat down, I'm like, oh, you really need to get busy. Okay. So I had my list. I had made, I've been prepared. And the first call, I felt so stupid. Okay. But then the second call, I made 12 calls, phone calls and texts. Okay. I didn't actually contact anybody, I didn't actually get anybody. But here's what I remembered on call number 2. I really love doing this. I really love it. Man, I hope somebody answers the phones. And my brain shifted. I hope somebody answers the phone because, I know if I get her on the phone, she's going to book with me, right? It just reminded me. So, before I knew, at first I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then I'm like, no, I get to do this is work. Okay, really, like, so it was eye-opening for me, and it was a reminder of, who I be. Okay. So who would like to share? We're all learning something all the time. We're learning stuff all the time.
I'll share. So I'm Kimberly. I've had my business for just over a year. Yay. And like you, I do read a lot too, lots of different things, but I I got into this rut where I was kind of struggling to, okay, I got to make sure I work my business every single day, right? Whether it's phone calls, text messages, emails, following up with the few customers I've had, um, and having things prepared for when situations, because I know the last several meetings we've had, we all talk about, okay, what can you do to work your business every day, right? Have a sample packet ready, bring things with you when you're in the coffee shop, bring things with you. Um, and those are all great. And I take notes. I'm constantly on my notepad taking notes. But what's funny this weekend, last week I struggled with this infection that I had in my tooth. And so I didn't work it as much, and I did some journaling and things, and a couple of customer follow-ups. But this weekend we were in Arizona, in Phoenix, because my husband had a motorcycle race that we put on. We run a race organization among my day job and Mary Kay, and I brought things with me. And I don't know what told me, just bring them with you. You're going to be in another state, but just bring them with you. And I had a couple gals come to the booth where I was doing registration. And one of them, I was wearing, I think it was my Berry Delight I was wearing, the lipstick. And she's like, oh, I love your lipstick. And I said, oh, thank you. I'm a Mary Kay consultant. And she's like, and you do this? She's like, you're a rock star. And I said, I have, I said, I'd love to show you. Do you have you ever used Mary Kay? And she's like, no. And so I happened to have a couple of samples, and um, I said, we're getting ready to run to go out to our run, but in a little bit, come back to the pit, and we can chat and stuff. And I didn't see her for a couple hours, and I was trying to talk myself out of that negative self-talk. Oh, she's not going to show up. She was just kind of shining me on. And 2 hours later, she showed back up when things were dying down, and we sat down and we had a chat. And her friend wasn't with her, but we had a chat. Um, and she was looking at the catalog, and I was telling her about, my journey and stuff. And it was all because I decided to bring my things with me to Phoenix, Arizona,
That's freaking awesome.
know what opportunity will arise. And it kind of lit a fire right under my feet, like, oh yes, this works. This is the kind of working your business, right? Touching it every single day does for you. And so it kind of set the tone for this week. So I got to work today. I had taken Friday off to do the traveling, and I got to work today. And my front office lady was like, Kim, you told me you were going to bring me a sample and your catalog. And I said, oh, yeah, I have one in my office. And so she's like, I'll call you tonight and or talk to you tomorrow. And I want to order some things. And so I was just like, this is what it means, right? This is what it means to touch your business every day. And so I feel super pumped this week that I'm making, the right moves.
It's
So
fantastic.
powerful. It was pretty powerful.
What'd you guys get? What'd you guys get from that?
prepared.
Okay, be prepared. Yeah.
Be prepared.
Well,
Don't leave
and-
home without it.
Don't leave home without it, even if you're going to a state away. Exactly.
Especially if you're going to state away. I heard you've been focusing on touching your business every day. And even though it hasn't necessarily worked out that way, that the efforts you're putting out there are starting to come back to you. We might put our efforts out over here and receive back over here, but we always get back if we're consistent. So yay, Kim.
Good job.
Yay.
Okay, Kim Cherry, and then Janelle, and then Donna.
Okay.
All righty. I'm the amazing Kim Cherry, and I've had my business 16 years. Yay. Let's see, my wins for this week. Personal win. A couple weeks ago, I started with like a new health nutrition coach. And honestly, it was a little rough. I kind of had a little meltdown Saturday, but I got to talk with my coach on Sunday and bounce back. And today I feel just amazing. I'm making progress already and I feel good now. And, she just reinforced that, like, I have to give myself time and grace, and it's okay to not hit everything perfectly, which is so like this business. We don't have to do everything perfectly. And, if we mess up a little thing here or there, don't beat yourself up over it. And so I can kind of translate it to my business. And then, today I reconnected with a couple of customers who are going to be putting in orders. They haven't ordered yet. So, and with rebuilding after letting my business kind of sit, it's going to take some work. And so, I put in a little bit of effort and already got rewards back that they're going to, and I know they'll order. There are a couple of post very loyal customers. So excited about that. And then learning moments, I started listening or reading to The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And
Oh, good.
oh my gosh, like just, even just my family, like, let it go. Like let whatever attitudes or things that they're doing, I don't have to have control over what they're doing. I just have to, I get to control my responses or the way I look at things or even who I choose to have in my life, so but I'm only like into chapter 2, so still baby steps with that. But I think it'll help my mindset a lot with not just your life, Mary Kay, everything. So those are my moments.
Helpful. Yay. And you're registered, right?
For the thing in April,
Yeah.
your coaching? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you just barely missed him. So he was my guest speaker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was
All right.
still eating. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Janelle, your turn.
My turn. Okay. Janelle Parker. I have had my business for a little over 12 years.
Wow.
I think it was 2013. Yeah. Wow. We're all talking about books. Right now I'm reading a book by a doctor who quit her residency and because she didn't like the fact that everybody was just pushing pills, and she's like, why aren't we helping people actually solve the problem? So the book's called Good Energy, and it's like crazy, how everything in our environment is set up to make us unhealthy. Or so much of it is. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, so it's kind of scary. I'm gonna make notes in my next major visit with my doctor. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? So anyway, she's actually in
great.
Portland. So, and for my business, I actually have a new customer from the website, $180 some sale.
My gosh,
so,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, wow. She
Good job,
bought
girl.
one of the Mary Kay skincare set, and then some foundation and lipstick and a little bit of stuff. So, and then a guy that had bought the extra emollient night cream. He had bought a couple of them from me a couple years ago. I never met him because something happened and Bob delivered them for me. That he's still using it. I said, well, I've got one more and I can try and see if I have any more laying around, or I can get some from other people the next time you run out in 2 years since it's been discontinued, right?
No, that's wonderful,
Or
Janelle.
I'll just give him the softeners from the
That
Yeah.
the
man.
handsets. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my last week.
And I love that you're reading. I mean, like you've all brought up reading, and like you're reading something that's about health. And, if we don't have our health, then what do we have? And I think it's really smart to be educating yourself there. So I know this is a different kind of meeting so far, but I hope that, I thought we could learn from each other. So it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good one.
Dawn.
Oh, I'm the amazing Donna Hardin. Yay! And Mimi and I went to Mandy's birthday party this weekend. And as you get older and you don't have kids at home and stuff, it's like, I really don't want to go to showers, and I don't want to go to birthday parties, and I don't want to go to, bridal showers. I don't know why, you know what I mean? It's just, but we went and we had a good time, and we met some women that were Mandy's friends, really nice ladies. And I'm thinking, oh, I miss the girlfriend time. I like it when we all get together, like at a restaurant and stuff. It's kind of fun. But my thing was, I was supposed to send out birthday greetings to my customers for April, and I totally forgot about it. Like it just came into my head. So I wrote that down, that I have to do that this tomorrow. So I get that done. And then, just reorders. And I did want to say that I participated in the spring fling. I don't know if anybody else did.
How'd it go?
And I invited everybody, and 5 people said they'd come, and 2 showed up. So the odds of that. And 1 ordered. Not a big order, but they ordered. So, but it was fun, but it was a lot cleaner. And I don't know if anybody's done that before, but it's it kind of got strung out and went on and on and on at the end. And it's kind of almost to an hour. They've got it cut down, so it's almost to an hour. So I felt really good about it. Plus, you're contacting your customers about an event. You know what I mean? At least they hear from you. They're getting something from you if you're not talking to them all the time, and I'm thinking about them, for this particular event. So that was a good thing. I thought that was wonderful. It brings Mary Kay and Donna Hardin back into their minds.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And I love that you stepped out of your comfort zone to do something that might have been a little uncomfortable.
Oh, you mean the birthday party? Mm-hmm. Oh, I would go, but I don't think I'd go by myself, because I wouldn't have known anybody but Mandy. You know what I mean? So I don't know that I would have went, but good thing we went together, and it was fun, and it was nice
good.
Seeing some other women, and that girlfriend kind of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna shift for a second, pivot, and bring your attention. It's so funny I had it set up and it's not there. Okay, bringing your attention to, good grief. Maybe you guys saw it. I just feel like I missed a memo or something. Our personal websites now have ratings. So your customer can rate the products. So I copied this from somebody else. I made a few changes to the words. I want to encourage you guys to get on this with your customers. So I just said, do me a favor, you can copy this from my page and change the website. But do me a favor, go to my website, rate the products that are your favorite, be nice, okay? Because people look at reviews before they buy stuff, okay? So I go to my personal website. I was like, really? When did this happen? How do I not know it? And then look at this. So Great Heights Mascara, you can rate it. Now, I think because it's my site, I can't do anything with it, because I'd rate everything a 5-star, right? Yeah, I can write the first review maybe. But you get it? And then people go to your website and they see, so get your customers to say what they love and why they love it on your site.
Okay.
Don't you think that's really awesome?
A lot of most websites have that. Or if you think about it, you like Amazon, they'll send you, or Walmart, they'll send you something and say, rate this.
Yep.
They don't give you anything for it, but
Yep.
you are rated. You rate them.
Yes. Maybe we should rate each other's
Hmm.
so that we have some review, because Amazon does do stuff like that.
Yes.
Anyway, but you get the idea, right? Like to authentically get your customers on there so that as people come to your website, they see, oh, Kim's customers really like this, 4-in-1 cleanser. Maybe I'll try it because people have rated it. Pretty cool. It's not something that's going to be an overnight thing. It's a, we're planting seeds. And then you've got to water the seeds, and then the flower comes up nice and slow as you tend it. So don't expect it to just be like an overnight thing, but I think it's a great feature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk tonight about overcoming objections to booking. So last week we talked about booking, and we talked about our story, like our intro. And I should have put this out there. So I'm going to put it out there to you now. If you haven't already written out your story, your intro, please put it to paper. Spend 5 minutes tonight and write it down. And here's why I think it's really important that you know what you're going to say, finding the words. See, I don't have a script in front of me. But if I don't tell my customer that here are the things we're going to do, I might not take her over to the other area to do an individual closing. I might not share the business opportunity if I haven't told them. Anybody, come on. You ever get a little tired by the end of your presentation? Anybody? Is it just me? Okay. And since you're the boss, you can do whatever you want. But if you've put it out there and you've planned what you're going to say, it makes a difference. So I want to challenge you to write yours out. And if you really want to take the challenge and have some accountability, text it to me. I'm not going to go through it and say, you should say this instead, because that is not the way to do this business. But that way, it's done. Okay. And accountability, I think, is a very important part of what we do. All right. So let's review real quick. When we're booking, when we're calling or texting, what are some of the key components? Anybody want to put out there? What do you say? What do you do? What's that?
Oh, no, I said nothing. No, I was being wrong.
I think it depends on what you're booking for. If you're booking from a booth, then you usually have a script. Oh, you came by our booth and you were interested in blah, 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 or whatever, or you filled out a survey and you call them, I'm calling you back to set up a time that we can get together. Is Monday at 5 or Saturday at 2 better for you? That's how we used to do it. We didn't ask them, what's good for you? You give people 2 options.
2 options. That's
and
where
then
I was.
You can work from that. And now you can even say, would you prefer, virtual or in person? And a lot of times we'll do that at the booth or when you talk to somebody.
And just like she said, like, you might be working with a booth lead, you might be working with a referral, you might be working with somebody that you personally know. Okay. You might, I made some contacts this afternoon to people that I haven't talked to in a really long time. But do you ever, like, in the quiet of your life, just go, gosh, I wonder how that person is. So that's kind of what I did, is I sent a few of those messages out today. And one replied, and we've been like chatting slowly throughout the day a little bit, but I'm not going to just jump and say, oh my gosh, Kim, I haven't talked to you in 25 years. Would you like to have a Mary Kay facial? Because that, it's not authentic,
Right.
Yeah. All right. So when I'm booking, what are some of the objections that we might get to holding an appointment, virtual or in person, it really doesn't matter. What are some of the objections? Somebody throw one out.
I don't have time. I'm
Okay,
too
Yeah,
time.
busy.
I'm so too busy. Yeah.
What else?
I have kids.
Okay. What else?
I'm allergic.
Okay. Okay.
I couldn't have it.
Anybody ever get money? I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. There's like 4 or 5 reasons that you'll get people will object to. What I want to encourage you to do is get yourself a index card. Okay. This is not an index card. It's a Post-it, but you get the idea. On the front of it, you write, she doesn't have time. Okay. And on the back of it, we're going to come up with, what do I say if she says I don't have time?
Mm.
So if I'm booking Donna and Donna says, I really don't have time for this. What I want to say is, okay, bye. And it's just want to be like, hey, see ya.
Well, I think I would maybe, I mean, if she didn't have time, she didn't want to see you in person, or she didn't want to do a Zoom, then I would give her a sample and send her a video. She
Hey,
could do it on her own.
and that's the answer, right? That's the answer. She can do it on her own. I've got a video posted. You can make your own video. You could talk to her over the phone, but what are some of the words you might want to say? Do I want to just jump and say, oh, well, you're too busy. Let me just send you a video. What might you want? She wants to be what? If you just do that, what happens to her? How does she feel? Donna says to me, I don't have time. And I just come back with, oh, no problem. I'll just send you some samples and a video. Did I even like acknowledge her?
No.
Okay. So on the back of your card, you want to put some kind of acknowledgement. Girl, I totally hear you. Oh my gosh. Not, oh, but you should see how busy I am, because then you're doing the
Comparison.
Yeah. We don't want to one up her, but yeah, I completely understand how you feel. You know what? I've got the perfect solution for you. Boom, right into Donna. Does that make sense? And personally, I have found that when I'm prepared with their objection and I have it in front of me, like Donna was saying about a script, no script, whatever, I have those objection note cards in front of me. I did this for years with the note cards in front of me. So if she said no, and she told me, I don't have any time. Okay, hold on. This is what I'm going to say. I'm really serious. That's really genuinely what I did for years. All right. So how about money? I don't have any money. So money goes on the front of your note card and you flip your note card over. What do we want to say to her?
I totally understand. I've been broke
Yeah.
before too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually
I
why
mean,
I have
we're
my Mary
all
Kay
kind of
business.
strapped. I mean, God, the stock market broke his back this week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lots of stuff like that you can say. And then if she doesn't have money, where do you want to go with her with it? What are a couple? There's more than one option, obviously. So
Have a party and invite some friends and earn some product.
Yeah.
okay, love it. Exactly.
Oh, no problem. It's free just to try out. When can we get together? Or when would be
I
best
just
for
love
you?
your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I need to practice. I haven't been doing a lot of these appointments. I need some practice. I just need your face, right? Don't worry about the money. I just need the practice. Okay. That makes sense? What happens when you get together with someone and she doesn't have money?
They magically have it.
They magically
They order something.
Yeah. It's
Sometimes
incredible.
they might not have it right now, but then it's fresh, and then you can follow up, and they usually say, oh, I get paid on the 15th. I'd like to have this or whatever. So then at least you've got a relationship going on.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Or I use Mac, or I use Estee, or whatever, I would love.
Great. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I would say, great. I, love to get your opinion on how you like Mary Kay compared to what you currently use.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mhm.
As far as the money thing, Janice, National Sales Director Janice Trude, she teaches, and she taught this at career conference, and I've heard it before, but when she says, I really don't have any money, but I get paid on the 15th or whatnot, you hand it to her and you say, just take it home. Here you go, just take it home, use it for a few days. If you decide you don't want it, I'll take it back. But most of the time she's going to pay you for it, right? Now I wouldn't, I'd use my better judgment, obviously. Okay. But what do I want to say about that? What do you guys think about that
Well,
idea?
Shauna used to say, give me a post-dated check.
Yep.
Give me half down and a post-dated check. Or
Mhm.
tell me when you can pay it, and I'll just charge your credit card those times.
Yeah.
At those dates.
Yeah.
And that way, she can still take it home today.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that was smart.
It is smart. Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Does it
Katie
help
did
you
that
guys?
for me, my first repair set.
Yep.
Pay half and pay the rest when your next paycheck.
I have a repair set that she's paying $63 the next 3 weeks. I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because then when they take it home, she's going to fall in love, right? And then that is something that Macy's can't do for her, or Target can't do for her. And if you don't have the product for her, then you can ask her for 50% down, or give me your credit card information, and on whatever day you say, I'll charge the 50% and bring it to you. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think it's really important that we have these, so you feel prepared for the objection, right? Okay. And there's really not that many objections. Okay. What's another one? Kids. What can we say with kids?
Lock
Leave
them
them
up.
at home. No, okay. Don't you want time away from the kids? No, I'm kidding.
Lock them in the bathroom. No.
You must be a great mom. You love your kids so much. Don't you deserve some pampering? I don't know.
Yes.
That's exactly. Because y'all, if
Or you definitely deserve pampering.
exactly. So I need to bring my kids with me. So then what can we offer her?
Come to their house.
You can offer to come to her house, or
You could do
virtual.
Zoom.
Yeah, do virtual.
Virtual.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then you don't even have to have a babysitter. I've had people say, but my kids are going to be such a ruckus. Don't worry about that. I'm a mom too, right? And if you need to stop
Yeah.
the Zoom and get up and go take care of them, I can wait. It's not a problem. And people respect that. Okay. Okay.
I've even had a mother and a little daughter, and she put some of this product on her face. You know what I mean? Like her mama at the same time. She was like 4 or something, and they were doing like this facial with me. So that was kind of cute.
Love it. Love it. And then the last one I wrote down was allergic. So you guys know you want to make sure you're acknowledging her, so we don't have to say that. But what do you want to say to someone who says, I'm allergic? Or I have super sensitive skin? Where do we want to go with that?
I'd want more information, like what have you tried? You've tried Mary Kay. 10 years ago, the formula has changed.
Mhm.
So,
Even 2 years ago.
yeah, it's changed, and our products are made for sensitive skin. So, why don't we just give it a try? We can do, just your cheek or your, whatever. We don't have to do your whole face. We can just do an area to see if you have any reaction. I've had that happen. Usually when they tell you they're allergic, they're just trying to blow you off. I'm sorry, ladies, but that's it.
For sure. For
I
sure.
always ask them like what kind of reaction they've had in the past. Well, being the nurse, that's kind of where my mind goes at like,
Mhm.
oh, what has happened in the past? And, if they know like a specific ingredient maybe they're allergic to. And then just like Donna, like offer like a patch test, if you will. And I have had at least one gal, maybe two, that have had a true reaction to product, and it was the sunscreen. So, it was kind of like and just telling her like, oh, hey, let's work it out. Let's figure out like which product is it that's setting you off, and we can figure out if there's a substitute for that. And we ended up, working through that and getting her on a regimen that worked. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
And I've also had, I have a customer right now that has rosacea, and the new Miracle Set, the cleanser she cannot use,
Mm.
but the
Oh, how is that? Isn't that
3D, the 3D she could use,
Oh,
and the one before that she could use.
okay.
So
isn't that interesting?
yeah, I don't know.
So what does the company offer to help our customer?
100% money back
Your
guarantee.
dad guaranteed.
Yeah. And I'll be real honest. I always tell them I'll make it right. 100% customer satisfaction,
Yes.
because the money doesn't come from the company if they want a refund. So I like Kim said, I want to work with her to find the right product,
Mhm.
or substitute something else, Does this help you guys?
Mhm.
You might have already known all the answers, but what I know is that if you're not practicing it on a regular basis, it feels like bye.
I'll call you later.
Yeah. I want to put out there that if you are in anything you're doing, if you find like, gosh, I just hung up, because this is what I did at the beginning. I wouldn't know what to say, so I told her goodbye. And I'd call my director and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this lady just said blah, blah, blah. Tell me what to say. And I'd write it down. Tell me what to say, write it down. I called her all the time. Okay. So don't ever hesitate. If you're like, I should have handled that in a different way, how would you have handled it? Or, whatever, please reach out. Okay. Any last comments? Anything you guys want to share? Are we good? Okay, so here's my thought for the day, the closing. And because I wasn't prepared, so someone else was going to do it and she's not here. So here's my closing. It says, if you kind of sort of try, then you kind of sort of get results.
Mm.
Okay. And that's not just Mary Kay, that's everything in life, right? If I kind of sort of am on a diet, like 2 meals out of the day, and I'm not on the third day, you get it. It's for everything. So leave you with that. Love you guys. And I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.